We got Tyler on the line. Tyler, what's happening? What you got?
Hi, Steve. I just want to say I'm a big-time fan. I watched you ever since I can remember. You were my first wrestling moment of my life when you hit The Rock with the steel chair and made Mankind World Heavyweight Champion.
Hey, somebody had to do it, and I'm glad it was me. What's on your mind this morning? You want to talk a little bit about WWE?
Yes, I do. Of course, the Royal Rumble, and it was probably the worst Royal Rumble I have ever seen in my life. My question is, who should we poke the finger to blame about this? Should we blame Hunter or Vince McMahon? Hunter's being more into the creative aspect, and dirt sheets are going around saying that Vince doesn't want want Triple H anything to do with the CM Punk thing, and people are saying they're doing damage control. Maybe Vince made a mistake or Hunter made a mistake. Do you think we should try to put the blame on one of them?
Man, if you're going to point a finger, I think you got to go to Vince McMahon first. He's the bottom line. He's still the guy that's in charge, and he's calling all the shots. And I think certainly Triple H has his thoughts, and I think on many occasions they're on the same page. On other occasions, maybe not so much. So I think you could, throw a little bit of accountability to Triple H. At the end of the day, it is still Vince McMahon calling the shots, so I think you got to go to him first. What was your major frustration with the Royal Rumble?
Well, at the beginning, probably the best match of the night was Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. Both were tremendous. And at the end, I did predict Bray Wyatt winning. I figured, it made Daniel Bryan look a little bit weak, but you know what? He'll be at the Royal Rumble. He'll win it. He'll overcome it. And they will continue with the authority storyline that kind of left us hanging. And then, at everyone's opinion, when number 30 hit, Rey Mysterio came out, it kind of went downhill. I'm surprised it wasn't like an ECW kind of thing when everyone's throwing stuff. And
now, when you say it went downhill, it's because your expectations were, even though Daniel Bryan had already wrestled in the first match, your expectations were he was also going to be in the Rumble. Correct?
Correct.
And then Rey Mysterio comes, and, Rey Mysterio has been, an outstanding guy in the squared circle for many, many years. And I thought it was a real bad booking decision on, in my head to put him in that 30 spot, because ultimately the people there wanted that to be Daniel Bryan, and Rey Mysterio got the boos because it wasn't what they expected. And I thought that was a real bad spot to put Rey in. It would have been a real good spot to put a heel in.
I felt really bad for Ray. And I felt bad not only for Ray, but we had the returning Sheamus, who looked phenomenal, but the crowd just booed him because he wasn't Daniel Bryan. Same with Big E Langston, and as soon as we saw CM Punk getting knocked out, I guess the internet wrestling community felt cheated, so they didn't want
do you consider yourself a part of the internet wrestling community?
Yes, I do.
Now, are you looking to be more, are you just purely, booking oriented of here's what they should do, or are you looking at what they're doing in the ring and just following storylines? Because, there's a line right there when you're thinking, okay, pure booking or just taking what you're seeing. So you're looking a little bit deeper, and y'all are looking more into booking so much more than the quote-unquote storylines are giving you, and why Daniel Bryan would be one of the guys perceived as being held back.
Well, I like to look at it both ways because, this is strictly entertainment to me as well, because, I watched it for many, many years and I still want to be entertained. But, I'm kind of mixed with it because people like Jim Cornette, they want the pure wrestling out of it, and I also like a little soap opera, and Daniel Bryan is the most talented in-ring competitor I've seen. And I don't want that kind of talent to go to waste because he is so much entertaining. People say he's not as good, when he's on the microphone shooting a promo, but his in-ring ability speaks for itself, and especially how he can control the crowd. A couple weeks ago at the Steel Cage with Bray Wyatt, he had the crowd at the palm of his hands. The slow yes chants was the best thing I've seen since, the Attitude Era with you and The Rock and Mankind. We just want we don't want people like Great Khali taking the time when we have so many other underused talent like Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler who who Dolph Ziggler just shoot a promo on the WWE app just last Friday. And we just felt like the talent needs to be pushed forward a little bit more rather than the soap opera. The majority of the drama and the people who don't deserve to be there, like I wouldn't say deserve to be there, but Batista, for example, who just...
So what were your thoughts on Batista coming in there? He comes in, his 4 years gone, he comes back, and, many people were happy to see him, but ultimately, people wanted Daniel Bryan to win that Royal Rumble, and then there for a brief moment, a lot of people wanted Roman Reigns to win that thing. And obviously, too early to give Roman Reigns that win. That's going to be a slow build, and that kid's got a great run ahead of him. So, but a little bit of disappointment, I think, just because of the fact Daniel Bryan once again wasn't there at the final part of that Royal Rumble.
Batista, I enjoyed Batista 4 years ago when his heel turn. I enjoyed it, and I had no problem with Batista coming back. It's just that he returned on that Monday Night Raw. 6 days later, he wins the Royal Rumble.
A little bit too soon for you.
Yeah, it's like, well, you should at least give him a little bit of time. Didn't let him go into the world title hunt. But, 6 days, it just, and especially he looked so gassed out, and he was only in the ring for 12 minutes, I believe. And he seemed pretty gassed out. He seemed pretty tired, out of shape. For a couple weeks of hype, you would think he would at least work out a little bit better, I suppose. I don't know.
Well, once you get in that ring and you get in front of that crowd and you start going full bore, you can be doing any kind of the, little training that you do on the side, but being in front of that live crowd is a whole different element. And, maybe you got a little bit of gassed out there, maybe got a little bit blown up out there. And then again, a couple of guys did. But that being said, I appreciate you calling in this morning. One last question. With this seemingly lack of a green light push for Daniel Bryan, how patient are fans like yourself for the WWE to push him? Because I think that if you have a good thing, and as hot as that kid is right now, you might as well heat that son of a bitch up as hot as you can get him, because he's gotten this hot with really not a lot of green light push, and seemingly with a lot of obstacles thrown in his way almost intentionally. And there's a window of opportunity for anybody that gets in this business. And I think if they don't move now or in the near future or pay this thing off fully at WrestleMania and give this kid the run, that window will start to close. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I can somewhat speak to the internet wrestling community that we are pretty worn out right now with the Daniel Bryan. We felt like his thing's been going on since SummerSlam of last year, and we felt like he deserved it by the end of the year. And right now, I would say the internet wrestling community's patience is wearing fairly thin. I go to you're familiar with Reddit, right?
Sure.
Yeah, the Square Circle subreddit, they are pretty mad about how Daniel Bryan's been treated, and I'm not one of them, but they're even giving up the purchase of the network because of how they treat Daniel Bryan and CM Punk now.
So what would you tell the powers that be at WWE right now in 15 seconds? Go for it.
Give Daniel Bryan the title. This is what we've been wanting for SummerSlam. We want it, and you ruined it for WrestleMania main event, but just give it to us the best way possible.
Well, that being said, there's still, several weeks coming to see what actually unfolds at WrestleMania. So it's all positioning. I think they put some stuff on the chessboard. They can move that around in the build up to that. But certainly they've established the pieces. Where those pieces ultimately end up on WrestleMania 30 is another thing. But they're certainly putting their feelers out there. And it's calls like this that will, maybe they will hear this and form their opinions. They've got to listen to their fan base at some point. Hey, man, I appreciate your call this morning. I appreciate you listening to the show. I'll catch you down the road, all right?
All right. Thank you, Steve.